Okay guys, welcome back to this training series of node.js, and in here we're going to be building our very first view where it will say hello world. Exciting stuff, I know, but if you are just joining us, please click on the link below so that way you can get all caught up with all the different videos that we have other people have already watched, and that way this will sound somewhat familiar to you as compared to you. What is this? So just click on the link below where you'll be able to follow through the this whole series. So at the moment we have three things in here. We got our package, which we already installed the npm. Then I have created a new file called app.js, and then this is the modules, all the modules that we already have installed in the past. So I'm going to open this app.js, and then we are going to go through it each line by line, see what it does. So I open this up, and in here, the very first thing what it does is, before I go any further, let me explain. So if you're coming from a PHP world, you know if you want to include a file within another file, you use the term which is the function called include, or include ones, or require ones, or require one of those functions. In Node.js is no different. In here, they use a function called require, and followed by any package that you want to include it in it. So you, in this case, if I wanted to include a package express, I say the word require, open parenthesis, code, the word of the package that I want to include, followed by close parenthesis, and then semicolon. And then what I can do is I can assign this whole package to a variable, which is local, which means I can only access it through this file, app.js, or I can add the word global and then access it throughout the whole project, no matter where it is. And then if you are coming from a PHP world, and this will be similar to your defined function, where you can define it in one file and then use that same variable throughout the whole project, any file that you want to use it in. So that's what this global variable. And I don't understand why other people who teach this Node.js do not teach you that. Either they don't know or they don't care to know it. But this particular function is, I have found to be very, very, very powerful. Let's move on. So this app is part of the function for the express, which we will look into it later down the file, which will allow us to do the routing as we already discussed in the previous videos. So I'm not going to go into it, but like I said before, if you're just joining us for the first time, please click on the link below or in the description to follow through all the different training series that we have already done. And then this request library, what this will do is it will allow you to access your other URL within the Node project. So let's say if you have an API call that you need to make to get X amount of information, you can use the request to call that API URL and bring the data back in there, and then you can do whatever that you would like to do with it. All right, let's move on. So the body parser is the library that we already installed in the previous video. So what this will do is it will allow you to parse your JSON data in a very user-friendly manner. Like when you use PHP and you can use JSON data there, but you have to convert it into your decode. You can use the JSON decode function to make it into array, but being that Node.js is all JavaScript behind scenes, you can use just your regular jQuery call, which you just make it to your server and say, hey, this is the JSON data object or array. And then in Node.js, you use this library to use the data within that call. So this is how you use it. And then last but not least, we have our port. Unlike your PHP whether you are using XAMPP, WAMP, or any other WAMPs, they all by default run on port 80. And here, Node.js gives you option to change the port to run at any other port, whether it be port 90, 3000, or whatever that you want to run it on. I'm not going to go into as to which port is better to run. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to just run this on port 80, which is your regular HTTP port. All right, so let's move on. And then what this will do is, this is coming from the Express engine. This is going to listen to this port and then run it. And then it's going to say, hey, server is running, and I'm going to type the word on port that. And that's that. And then last but not least, this, once again, going back to our Express routing engine, this is how you call a particular route or URL. So if you just put a /, that's just going to go to the home page of your website. For example, your website.com. If someone goes in there, anything that's in here is going to get displayed. So how do you use that is you use the word app followed by get, because that's a get command. You can also use other commands such as post, delete, put, and there are several other out there that's all part of this thing right here. And then you put the parameter as to what you want to do. If you just put it, like I said before, if you leave it as a /, it's gonna go to your home page. However, if you put it as a / and then you could put like other variables, which we'll go into it later on. So in other words, if someone goes to your website, let's say yourwebsite.com /mark, and that particular word mark can be in here, and then you could look at in your database to see if that URL exists. If it does, then you display the data for that URL, or else you could just show a 404 error message. And then that is for another video, but just to give you a gist of it, this is how this works. All right, let's move on. And then this function gets returned, and then it has a few different parameters. One is called request, and then sending it and next. So within this function, once we have verified that information that we want to show, we can show it, send the user a few different ways of sending the information. One is your Json object. And like your PHP, you can use the function called Json Encoded. And here you could use the same thing. You could just say the word JSON, open parenthesis, and then if you're familiar with your JavaScript JSON format, this is something similar to that. So you have status, which could be success, message, which is hello world, or you can send it as a regular text. So let me just do this first. So I'm going to take out this HTML part. So let's do this. So you can send it as a JSON object, you can send it as a regular text, or you can format it to be a HTML with different tags or whatnot. So let's run this as a regular text first. So I'm going to open up my app in here. Type in cmd, as we have previously talked about how to use a command line based on your folder. And then in here, if you want to run your node.js server, it is very easy to do. Basically, what you do is you type in the word node and the file that you want to run. So in this case, I want to run app. And then you don't have to type in .js because it already assumes it's .js. And then after that, you just type in, not type in, but hit enter. And then it's going to say, hey, server is running on port 80 as we saw it earlier. And now I'm going to open up my local host And as you see, it says bold in here because I was running it test before I started this tutorial. But if I refresh it, it's just gonna say, hey, this is just hello world with no formatting. So if I open this up in a source code, it just says hello world, no big deal. So if I go back here, and then I'm going to comment the regular text part out and bring this here. So what I'm expecting to see is this will be bold. So let's see if I refresh it now. And at the moment, it does not do anything. And you're like, what happened? I thought I fixed it. I made the change in here. Here, I'm expecting to see hello world. How come it didn't work? Here's why. Because every time you make a change, you have to restart your server, which at times could be slightly annoying. But just to show you, so you can stop the server by pressing Control C, and then that will stop the server. And then you can clear out and then restart the server again. And like magic, if it restarted the server, now if I hit refresh, it's gonna say, hey, this is great. Now I can see it. But like I said before, that could be slightly annoying. So to overcome that, or not have to restart the server off and on and on and on, it could be rather annoying from personal experience. So what you can do is you can install a package called node.mon. So it is npm I node.mon, and you just hit enter. And then if you don't know how to install packages, please watch the other video that we already went into at great details how to install packages. You can watch that video, and then that way you are all caught up. And the link, once again, is in the description, so you can click on that one and then you're all good. So I'm gonna install this, and it's gonna go run. It'll take a few seconds for it to run, so I'm gonna pause this now. Okay, so this is all installed. I'm gonna clear the screen, and now if I want to use node.mon as my way to start the server, rather than me saying node, I can just say node.mon app and then hit enter. Well, that did not work. Let's see why, because I didn't type the word correctly. So it's node mon, M-O-N, app. And now you will see it starts running the server, but it's a little different. It has a green and a yellow writing into it. So now if I make any changes, it will automatically save the changes and restart the server. So for example, if I refresh this, it's like nothing happened. Like, wow, Mark, that's exciting stuff. Nothing really happened. So, but wait. If I comment this out, I want you to notice right here what is happening. So let's bring this here so you can see both of them at the same time. So if I go in here and let's say I want to comment this and uncomment the regular text version of it, I want you to notice right here what will happen. If I click on File and then Save, and then voila, it restarted the server and restarted the app. And now if I go back in here, it automatically changes. So this comes in handy a lot. So when you get to start developing your Node.js applications, just install this bad boy and you should be like great. So you don't have to worry about it, because I know from personal experience, before I knew how to use that, I was restarting the apps like left and right, and then it was just getting very frustrating. And sometimes I forget and I'm expecting to see results, but they did not happen because I forgot to restart the server. So that being said, so let's just see one more thing, which is your Json object. So if I start this, save it, and restart it now, and now it's going to come up as a JSON object rather than your string. So you have 3 different ways of sending or showing data to your users. You can send it as a JSON object, you can send it as a regular text, or you can send it as text formatted within the HTML. So with that said, I'm going to conclude this video here. And in part 2 of this Node.js series, we are going to be learning how to build a login system, which for the most part is very standard in any web application now. If you want to have access, if you want to give access to your user to have anything, you want them to log into your system, and by you doing that, you have to store their information behind scenes. And in the next part, we will learn how a person can log into your system to access your downloadable PDF, MP3, or whatever that you want them to have access to it. And I'm really excited about that part 2 of it. I think you're really going to benefit a lot from it. So I can't wait for you to get started. So I'll see you guys in part 2 of this Node.js series, where we will learn how to create a login system. Until next time, happy coding, guys.